Welcome to Commit Masai Academy. As usual, we have many ways to teach, right? We have many ways in which we bring across our lessons to everyone. Remember, everyone is a student of life. As we always say, everyone is a student for life. So I'm going to introduce you today to a new series that we will be starting, and the series is called Back to School for Dummies. Back to School for Dummies. All right, so in this series, we're going to be doing lessons in mathematics and English language. If you consider yourself a dummy in these subjects, and you are not ashamed to say, these are the series for you, because I'm going to be breaking things down from the basic levels, right? Or breaking them down to the basic levels, both the mathematics and English language. I decided to focus on these two areas because these two subjects, especially in the Western part of the world of which we find ourselves, these two subjects are considered the bread and butter, the bare essentials. You must have these two at least. No matter where you go, no matter what you want to do, you are required to be proficient in at least mathematics and English language. If you want to progress to higher education, you will need to have these as a foundation. And even if you want to stop at the secondary school level and then, go to get a job, go to get a trade, go to do some kind of vocational training, mathematics and English language are essential. And they are areas that typically our people feel terrified of, maybe because they are considered to be essential, right? So they are terrified of them. I know here in the Caribbean, a lot of students have to resit English language and mathematics exams year after year after year after year, and I do not exaggerate. But in the Caribbean region, our main examination taken for entry to tertiary level is a CSEC exam, and I know for a fact that a lot of resit is done for mathematics and English language, with some students being quite all right to get a grade 3, which is the lowest level in terms of getting a pass in these subjects. So what I want to do is to ensure, and this series really and truly is geared towards helping adults to have access to this as a remedial kind of thing, right? It's a remedial kind of thing. Of course, everybody can do the lessons and, benefit from the lessons from as young as grade 1 up to whatever grade. I always say, if you're 9 months to 99 years and beyond, we are all students of life, and we're students for life. Always remember that, right? So everybody, these lessons are for everybody, but I particularly want to allow adults who for some reason miss the boat, right? For some reason you were at school and you didn't focus, you didn't listen to teacher, you didn't do what mommy and daddy said you were to do, and then you found yourself having left high school, having left primary school without these bare essentials. And so now you're scuffling to go back to try to get them. And believe me, I have taught adults for many years, and I've noticed a trend with them. It's a very difficult thing. When you as an adult decide that you're going to go back now and start from scratch, it is extremely difficult because as an adult, you're now having to go into a classroom with people who look like your kids. They could be your kids. And some of you who do have kids, you realize you're in a classroom with children of your kids' ages. And we are all humans, and for most adults, it is an embarrassing thing on many levels, right? It is embarrassing when they find themselves in these situations and not grasping things that everybody else seems to be grasping. Being afraid to ask questions that, you get the feeling like you should get this, like that, you just because everybody else seems to be getting it, you get the feeling that this is something that should just come to you like that, but it's not coming to you. And it is embarrassing for an adult to deal with. It's embarrassing also when you realize that you have wasted many, many years, and it's not for want of persons trying to provide an intervention for you, trying to provide guidance to you. It's not for lack of that. It's just that you were hard-headed, you were obstinate, you did not listen, and you dropped the ball, and now you're trying to regain that. It's an extremely difficult thing. And of course, you know that as an adult, you have other things now that you have to be juggling. You yourself now might be raising your kids and trying to get your kids to understand things that you did not understand when you were coming up, and your mom and dad were trying to get you to get it. So it's like a vicious cycle. You also have bills to pay. You have adult things to do with the 24 hours that we're all allotted. And so for you to try to fill in all the adult things plus all the things you should have done in your childhood years, in addition to the embarrassment of being in the classroom with people who are your kids' ages, that from my experience with most of the adults who have come to me over the years to help them with some remedial work to get themselves together, most of them dropped out because they just could not handle, they couldn't juggle all of these things, the physical, pragmatic things, and then the emotional, psychological things. Most adults that I have taught dropped out, no matter how passionate they were in the beginning, no matter how committed they said they were, dedicated to their education, they just eventually dropped out. A few of them, of course, blazed ahead and they never looked back, and they did not care if they were laughed at. They did not care what anybody had to say. They pressed on, and they went on to sit their subjects in the exams, get their passes, move on even to higher education. So I want to encourage you, if you're an adult who at this stage in your life, you have decided that you're going to go back to school. If you are decided that, hey, I'm a dummy, I don't know much, I may have gathered a lot of hard knocks information. We always talk about the University of Hard Knocks, those things that you learn from living, from being out there in the world, being on the streets. Yes, you have a lot of that knowledge, but that alone won't do. And especially in this age, you have to make yourself competitive, and you have to put yourselves through the rigors that the process of education allows you to have the process of collaborating with others, analyzing information, expressing yourself. These are tools that you need, and they are the tools that only education, academic education, can give to you. It definitely provides you with an edge. And so it is something that I would strongly encourage you to pursue and to be consistent with it and to, forge ahead. And don't be embarrassed. Don't be afraid to call yourself a dum-dum. That's what this series is all about. It's being able to laugh at ourselves. It's being able to know that we don't know a fraction, not even a tiny iota. None of us knows even an iota of the knowledge that is out there to be known. And so we have to be humble. No matter how much you know, you don't know half as much as you need to know. So you need to be humble and you need to share information. You need to help others along the way. Each one, teach one, as we say. And also, as the little adage goes, he who knows that he knows not, he's a wise man, seek him. Right? So that little adage, he who knows and thinks he knows, and we could go into that, but he who knows that he knows not. He who knows that he knows not. He is a wise man, seek him. So if you know that you don't know and you want to know, this is the place for you. This is the place for you. We're going to be asking some really dumb questions. We're going to be asking the questions that everybody in the class is afraid to ask, but everybody in the class needs to know. And so in doing this, we benefit everybody. When you raise your hand and you ask the dumb question, you benefit everybody. You also benefit the person who thought he knew, only to realize that he didn't actually know the right thing. And thanks to you, because you asked the question, then the opportunity was there for things to be clarified. Okay, so this is where we're at, and we're going to be doing mathematics and English language. So I'm going to take you in each of those subjects from the very, very basic. When I say basic, I mean basic, right? So if you're an adult and you don't know anything about numbers, you don't know anything about the signs that we use in math, you don't know anything about the shapes that we use in math, you don't know how to apply math to everyday life, the everyday day-to-day application, going to the shop, going to the store, ordering stuff, working out. If you have persons coming to your home to do certain jobs and you want to double check, you're doing some tiling, you want to double check the measurements. Somebody is putting in some fixtures, you want to double check the measurements, you want to double check the quotations that they're giving you for the prices of things. You want to be able to work out and stand for yourself and not be manipulated. In terms of the English, a lot of times you will hear people saying, I know what I want to say. I know exactly what I want to say. I just can't express it. I just can't put it into words. And then you might hear somebody else say it or write it, and you say, this is what I mean. This is what I want to say. But why am I not able to say it? Right? We're going to look at the fundamentals of English language. Here in the Caribbean and those in the African diaspora, English is a struggle for a lot of us because it is not our first language. If you're born in the Caribbean, if you're born in the African diaspora, English is not your first language. Your first language is more than likely going to be that dialect, which is going to be a cross between English and the language of your foreparents. For us here in the Caribbean, in Jamaica, so we have Jamaican patois, right? This is what our babies learn from they drop out of the womb in the home. This is what they hear the folks around them speaking. So when they go off to school and they're now being told English is the official language, this is the formal language, for a lot of them it is a challenge because they are unable and their parents are unable to reinforce the academic formal English that they are taught at school and that they're expected to master by the time they get to examination level. It is a struggle. It's a struggle for every person of African descent because English is a starched language. It's a language of the colonizer for many of us. It's a language that we associate, though, with hierarchy in terms of class. So a lot of times we are told, some of us here in the Caribbean, that when we speak our natural dialect, we are told that's bad language, right? And we should be ashamed of speaking that in the public setting, where for me, this should not be the case, and we should not be telling our people to look down on the language that their folks have used, because this patois is a language of liberation. It's a language that our foreparents devised and evolved as a way of resisting the colonial language, right? So it is something that we should be proud of. And there are just some things that we need to say that we can't say. I'm sure every Caribbean and every person in the African diaspora can relate to that fact. There are things that you can say in patois. I don't know how you're going to translate that in English to get it really how you want it, right? So for me, I want my people to be fluent in their folk language and in their official colonial language. You should be able to switch just like that. You should be able to go from one to the next and express yourself loudly and clearly in both. And that is what I want for you, right? So we're going to look at our basics, parts of speech, subject-verb agreement. We're going to be looking at story writing and letter writing and just how to express yourself in everyday situations. You must be able to be articulate and let others know what is on your mind. Let others know where you stand, and do so in a language that will leave no doubt in their minds, right? Leave nothing to the imagination. By the time you're done, it should be loud and clear what you mean. And this is in writing and speech, right? So in your oral expression, you should be on point. In your writing, you should be on point. Now, if like I said, the series, this particular series, is geared towards adults, but everybody should access and can access these lessons. So we're going to alternate. So this week we might do mathematics. Next week we do English language, right? There are tons of other subject areas we could cover, but we're going to focus on these two. So make sure you get your books and your pencils. And let me introduce you now to our, I don't want to call him a mascot. I'll refer to him as a puppet. And his name is Dum Dum. Dum Dum will be helping me to teach the lessons. As we go along, you will understand the format that the lessons will take. And I want you to also know that I made this puppet. I'm very proud of my puppet. And I'm actually going to be, right now, he doesn't have everything that will be shown on the screen. So there will be a board here that I'm going to be writing on. And as we go along, Dum Dum will let me know what dumb questions he has to ask, and I will address. And I'm encouraging you to ask your dumb questions. And this is the reason why we're entitling it Back to School for Dummies, because I don't want you to hold back. I don't want you to think that, no, this is too stupid a question to ask. Ask the stupid questions. Stupid questions deserve to be asked, even more so than the intelligent ones, because it's the stupid questions that go unasked and unanswered that let people run away with false impressions and wrong information, and then they go and mess up everything, right? If you are an adult learner and you're going to be following this series, make sure you have your notebooks, one assigned to English and one assigned to math. And so you can take your notes, you can work the examples as we go along. If there's something you're not getting, you post your questions. It's not always going to be a live session. Most times it will not be live. So if you're watching a recorded version of whichever session, still post your questions and I will come back and reply to them, right? A lot of adults, like I said, are daunted by the sheer volume. I've had students come to me, adult students, and they get their textbooks, they get everything ready. And when they realize how much information is there to go through, just the sheer volume of the information. Because remember, now I'm breaking down everything simple. So it's not a matter of, okay, the person is not going to get it. They know they're going to get it because I'm going to break it down. But they are daunted, they are turned off by just the sheer volume. When they look at the textbook and they say, okay, this is just the basic level textbook and it's this high. And then there are so many other textbooks for all the different topics. And it's like they're saying to themselves, is this what I really missed? I really missed out on all of this when it was my turn to do it, right? When it was my turn to be in school, teacher was teaching all of this. What was I doing? And it is a rude awakening for a lot of adults, but I really don't want you to feel daunted or to feel so overwhelmed that you just throw the books up in the air and you just say, you know what, to hell with it. I'm just going to make sure my kids do what they need to do. That's what your parents said. And we all see that didn't work, right? So right now, we need to take the approach of we need to be what we want our children to be. Be what you want your children to be. If you want your children to be an avid reader, take up a book. You must take up a book. Let your child see you reading. If it's even just a newspaper, let your child see you reading something. If you're going out with the child to the supermarket, let the child be conscious of, all right, here are the labels, here are the prices, here's tax. What is tax? Why is tax added? How does tax affect the final price that we're going to be paying at the cashier? Talk to your kids about these real life application of things. Okay, hi Danielle. Danielle is saying hi, Dum Dum. Thank you for joining us, Danielle. And Dum Dum says hi, and I hope that you will join us for the actual session. So the actual teaching sessions will start next week we're going to start with math, and then we're going to alternate, right? We're going to alternate math, English, math, English. In case you're wondering, who is this person who is going to be teaching me math and English? Can this person teach me math and English? Is this person qualified? So let me tell you, I am very much qualified to teach you both subjects, right? You're looking at the two-time national adult champion in the Jamaica Library Service National Reading Competition. And you're looking at the recipient of the Marcus Garvey Award for Education from the Universal Negro Improvement Association, 2014 recipient for the award in education. You're looking at the recipient in 2014 for the University of Chicago Outstanding Educator Award. You're looking at someone who has written 28 books, 3 of which are mathematics textbooks. So you are in very capable hands, and you're also in the hands of a teacher who encourages her students to ask dumb questions. You will not be frowned upon, you will not be looked down upon, and you are going to be encouraged to be yourself, and we're going to encourage each other to have fun on this. In this series, it's all about being able to laugh at yourself. It's about being humble. It's about understanding that no matter what you know, you don't know everything. Not nearly, nowhere near knowing all that you need to know. And so we have to always understand that this is a journey, and each of us is on our own journey. And if for whatever reason you got derailed on your journey, you can get back on track. You are in safe hands on this channel, and you can pick up where you left off, right? Pick up from where you left off. So this is how we're going to wrap up today. And when we see each other again, you're going to have your notebook, you're going to have your pencil. I know that you have access to a calculator, but at this point, you're not going to need one, and I will not be wanting you to cheat yourself. Because remember, you can't cheat me, you can't cheat Dum, you can't cheat anybody. If you cheat, you are cheating yourself. Hi, Kenisha. Yes, you are late. You're very late, but thanks for joining the class. So I was telling the viewers, this is a class for adults, right? So if you know that you're a dum in math and English, this is the class for you. It's going to be a weekly class, and we're going to alternate in mathematics and English language, right? Get your books, write your name on your books, get your pencil or your pen. At this stage, you won't be needing your calculator. You're going to need your ruler, get a geometric set, right? Have everything ready. So next week, you can be on top of things. You can be in the class asking your dumb questions. So until then, I'm going to sign off. Dum is saying bye. And you'll see us both next time. So thank you for joining us, and see you next time.